G'day, Dave here, the Enlightened Plumber, with today's quote. What is right is not always popular. What is popular is not always right. What is right is not always popular. What is popular is not always right. This is from Albert Einstein. Let's dive in. Okay, so there's a wonderful phrase that I've heard that is in sort of some of the business realms. You can be right or you can be rich. And that sort of fits into me with sort of one of the ways that I'm interpreting this particular quote. And that being right is not always a good thing. That I can be right in an argument, but what good does that do? I can be right with an answer on a test, and in the realms of that test that could be right, but if it causes problems for some other reason, or that the test itself is flawed, then that could be wrong. And I'm not necessarily saying a written test, because in most cases, if it's a theory-based thing, then one would like to presume that the answer is right, and therefore it's also still right. Popularity coming in for what's right answers. So this would fit in with some other information I've picked up today that would suggest that Newtonian physics isn't actually correct when based or compared against quantum physics. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs of that, but going to similar things I've had through school, different learnings, that what may be applicable for 90% of applications may not be right on some others, and therefore it would suggest that in that realm, Newton's equations still work for 90% of most science, most basic school questions, most of how life works around us, but in the quantum realms, it falls to pieces. So if that's not most of the life that most people are living in, then it's still correct in that sense. Popular, though, if I or someone else comes up with an opinion that then I would believe is right, sorry if I just banged the mic, that I would believe is right, then that may well be right in my mind and could be a very unpopular statement or theory in the realms of other people who are viewing that statement as being incorrect. And that's where right and popular are different things. So there might be a right choice, and this goes on with, say, human rights and things like that, where one person's or a group's opinions are unpopular by someone else's, yet from a systemic side of things, they could be deemed as being correct. And also there's other avenues of the reverse of that, saying popular. So if I was to look at the amount of reality TV shows that are popular on TV and how many people watch those and are actually, in my mind, say, destroying their minds from watching them, that could be right, again, by my opinion. But it would, okay, so I've kind of got that bit reversed. So those programs are popular, but in my opinion, it wouldn't be right for people to be watching those. In the same way that if most of the news stories that are filling the airwaves around the world are all negative or mostly negative, then that to me is not the right news that needs to be passed along. But it's popular, but that's why it's being aired. So it's kind of, there's a lot that goes into this crazy saying here. But anyway, with that, we will finish up and say that there are things that are right but not popular, and there are popular things that are not right. From Albert Einstein and myself, Dave, the Enlightened Plumber, look into your own world and determine what seems to be right and find comparisons between whether they're popular or not. Take care. See you on the next one.